being condescending is an inevitable trait that you're going to display on retaining your seed on this journey. It's going to be something that is going to just ooze off you naturally, and other people are going to either gravitate to it or they're going to secretly dislike you for it. Um, it feels surreal knowing that I overcame the obstacles that were set before me to become an average person, to become someone that is addicted to corn, someone who's extremely emotional, or someone who just is bliss in ignorance. Um, I found out about semen retention when I was about 21 years old, quite early. Um, because when I was around 18 years old is when I realized I was actually into the deeper things of the world, into the deeper knowledge. I was actually into learning, and I was actually very curious on topics that most people would stray away from, or topics that people wouldn't really want to talk about, right? Occult things and stuff like that. So I actually dove into that around 18, and a few years later, I came across a PDF of something called Taoism, right? And I was just like, what is this? So I started reading on it, and it spoke about a practice of basically not releasing during sexual intercourse. And and pretty much, I just went down that rabbit hole and came across semen retention, and I actually practiced it, I believe, when I was around 22, 23 for like a few months, but ended up breaking it. But it took me about 5 years after that, 5, 6 years after that, to really actually, go on a long streak and take it serious, right? And so pretty much, I think I have around, 8 years of semen retention, experiences, and I can actually say that this journey is like a movie, like a complete movie scene. And as soon as you start acting in it, you can't ever go back. Like, I'm talking about never. Like, you will never be able to just willy-nilly go back to, back to releasing, back to that lifestyle. I mean, you can, of course, but you're gonna feel the negative effects, and you're gonna see your life spiral out of control as soon as you go back to it. Because coming across this practice, you're actually making a deal with the universe, because you've breached the highest point of intelligence. Like, you actually came across something that wasn't necessarily designed for you to come across, hence showing that you're a chosen one. So being chosen is actually the highest responsibility that any human could actually have. And because of this, now we are going to be extremely punished for going backwards as to continuing to push forward and increasing our retention in all areas of our lives. What you eat is extremely important, and the things that we eat determine our moods and determine, our health. And, as simple as that, that's what that is. And basically, I'm not exactly, an expert just yet on, the reasons why you shouldn't eat, meats, and the reason why you shouldn't eat, dairy and man-made things and stuff like that, right? I can just say, do your research and, look up a guy named Yaki Awakened or Yakai Awakened, right? And he'll pretty much kind of just give you an understanding on why, you shouldn't eat meat, why you should look towards eating, your fruits, your vegetables, and and just, find different alternatives other than meat that you can eat. Because the only reason why people decide to eat meat is because it's seasoned really nice. Without the seasoning, you wouldn't want to eat that at all. Let's just be honest, y'all. But anyway, I don't want to dwell on that too long. But, I've been eating eggs and been, eating cheesy chips, and basically I've been staying away from meat for about close to 3 years now, right? I haven't had meat in 3 years, right? And I want to take it up a notch and not eat eggs anymore either, and cheese and things like that, because those things destroy our bodies, right? And see, I didn't care about the stuff that I put inside my body before semen retention, but being on this practice now, I just can't help but want to just be perfect now, and not be afraid of letting that perfect expression come out. And it's doable, it's possible, and no one's gonna understand, no one's gonna understand except the people who are on this journey. So I've already accepted that. And yeah, I just want to let you guys know that don't be afraid to level up. Don't be afraid to stand out and, embrace being alone. Embrace leveling up. And as you can see, I'm in an office by myself, and, not too many people are going to be able to level up like this. Not too many people are going to level up in general in life, to be honest. Let's just be realistic and, just keep things a buck, right? And, we're not judging anyone, but it is what it is. People aren't going to level up. They're going to stay the same. They're going to continue to watch their the corn. They're going to continue to, eat whatever it is that they eat, which is, the meats, the eggs, and all that good stuff. And, they're going to continue to, eat those things. And let's just talk about those things for a second, because it's generally known that meat has steroids in it, that they inject steroids in the meat. And hence why a lot of bodybuilders and certain people, that lift weights, they want to eat meat, right? But, and they claim that they don't take any steroids or anything, but there's steroids in the meat. They tell you that there's steroids in the meat, so you're actually on roids. Whether whether you want to accept it or believe it or not, the reason why people get big and get real chunky when they decide to eat a lot of steak and eat a lot of chicken and beef when they lift weights is because there are steroids injected inside those beefs, inside those meats, to pump you up, to make you feel like that. You actually don't need to take steroids. That's why all those guys out there who are taking steroids, man, you guys need to be really, really careful, man, because that thing is destroying you, and it's actually unnecessary for you to, take those enhancements and stuff like that. But back to the people who eat meat, you're taking steroids too by eating those meats that they inject and that they tell you that they inject with steroids, and you're eating it, like willingly. And those things do so many negative things to you. And I can name them, I can list them, but I'd rather you guys just take the time and just do that yourself, bro. Don't be afraid to look up the truth. Look up what's really going on. All right? Don't be afraid of that. So I just wanted to leave you guys a quick word, man, and just let you guys know that semen retention is important, but to enhance your journey, watch the things that you eat and watch the things that you eat mentally, right? As far as the things that well, that'll be easy because when you retain your seed, you're gonna automatically have the ability to comprehend and discern and know what to compartmentalize and know what to intake and know what to block out. You know, like nothing will phase you on this journey. Like no one's going to be able to tell you anything, and not to come across stubborn or anything, because it's like it's not that you're stubborn, but it's that you're so aware and in tune with yourself that you know when someone is intentionally trying to use their words to, bring something out of you. And what that person doesn't understand is that you are at God's level to where you are impervious, you're indestructible. Like on semen retention, you're indestructible now. So now you just have to fully be indestructible in every single area. Once you're on a long streak, I'm talking about once you're about 3 months and beyond, I'm talking to, people who are on a 3 month or longer journey. I know they're out there. I know you guys are out there. And I'm just letting you know, in order to reach the highest point of your potential, you gotta watch what you eat and cut out the foods that these people want to give to us, right? But I just want to leave y'all with that real quick. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I got more videos for y'all.